Okay, but starting us off on the show this evening, I'm going to talk about a show that's on its way to the Lyric Theatre here in Belfast. It's called Carson and the Lady. Michael Cameron is the man behind it, and Rosie McClelland is starring in it. Let's find out more. They join us in the studio. Guys, welcome. Hi. Michael, it's been a while since you've been here, but the last time you were here, we were talking about your play Ruby, which was a huge success, wasn't it?
Ruby was just beyond our wildest expectations. You know, we had 2 sold-out runs at the Lyric, and unfortunately, like everybody else, COVID hit us halfway through, but it is going to come back, and we're going to bring a new version of it back to theatres, hopefully next year.
Brilliant, because so many people didn't get the chance to see it and wished they had have seen it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good position for us to be in, because we had it in the Naughton studio at the Lyric, but we're going to kind of upgrade it into a main stage show now, and that will hopefully allow more people in to see it this time.
Yeah.
So, and also, you know, in between writing it, you get some more information, so you can kind of, after the show came out, so many people wrote letters and got in touch saying, oh, I used to know Ruby, and everybody had a Ruby story. But there was one amazing one came out with, which was from one of her old loves, who still has all his box of love letters from him and Ruby in 1956 or whatever it was, and he has shared all that with me. So the new show will be able to kind of just update itself a little bit more, which hopefully, even if people have seen it before, they'll come back again, because it'll be a much bigger show, and still with Libby, of course, who's amazing. So,
oh, of course, and I said this recently as well, that people they've forgotten that Ruby Murray was still one of the most successful female artists ever in the UK. I think she holds a record for the most number ones or something, doesn't she? Yep,
absolutely. The only person to have 5 songs in the top 20 at the same time. The record will never be broken because they count it differently these days.
Yes,
so she holds that, and that's the one thing that will always keep her in pop history. But I think when Abbey Road and EMI did their anniversary party, Ruby Murray was still on the list of people who were the record holders, and alongside the Beatles and the Stones and Madonna and everybody else. Great for Belfast.
Oh, exactly. Let's talk about the new show, even though it's not strictly new. You've done it before, Carson and the Lady. We're going way back in history this time, aren't we?
We're going back to the 1900s, and this, if you don't know anything about these people at all, then that's a good thing, because it's not a historical documentary. Some people think it's a Carson biography, but this was a show that was commissioned by Antrim and Newton Abbey Borough Council and Theatre at the Mill for the centenary, which is why we did it last year in Antrim. And it basically is about Lady Jean Masserene, who was a socialite, owner of the Antrim Castle along with Lord Masserene. And she had a really spectacular life. One of these lives, you think, why does this not, like so many things in Irish history, why do people not know about this? But the thing about her was, one of her closest friends was Sir Edward Carson, and so that allowed us to bring her into the whole centenary thing and the formation of Northern Ireland. But as a piece of work, it is not a historical documentary. We've taken a few liberties with Sir Edward, and it's a bit like a Downton,
Oh, brilliant.
It's like a kind of a period piece in set in Irish history, and it's funny, it's romantic, it's not a pure political piece.
Belfast does Bridgerton.
Absolutely, yeah, totally. And of course this lady is Lady Jean Masserene in all her glory, and she was so brilliant last year. We're delighted that the entire cast are back for this run at the Lyric.
Well, I've been hearing about the costumes, and I believe that you've got some stunning outfits to wear, haven't you?
Oh, of course. The costumes are beautiful. We have Liz Cullinan, who's doing the costumes this time, and Lady Jean Masserene, reading up on her, especially last year when we did the research and stuff, that this was a wonderful woman who was so fashion forward and ahead of her time, and there's a lot of things that were written about her not wearing corsets when women should have been wearing corsets. She was all like, no, just let it all go, and she was a real socialite in her time, and just a wonderful, strong woman.
What I love, like Michael said, a lot of people don't really know anything about her background. It's just that they're learning when they come to see this show.
And same here, when I started, I didn't know anything about Jean Masserene, and she's just this fascinating woman. And she was only 21 when she came to Antrim and took on this responsibility of being the lady of the manor, so to speak. And it's been an incredible journey exploring her relationship with Carson and how that all intertwined, growing up in Northern Ireland, you think you know all of it, and then you go, I didn't know any of this, and it's a wonderful learning experience for me as well.
And of course, we're coming to the Lyric Theatre stage. That must be something good as well.
Yes, of course it is. It's lovely to bring it to the Lyric stage. We did it last year in the grounds of Antrim Castle Gardens, so the historic element there was amazing. This was the site that she was on. But I think now with Liz on board, and we have Gareth McConaughey with the sound design and James McFetters with the lighting, I think they've got such a great team behind it that it's going to make it look incredible, yeah.
Brilliant. So Michael, what was it that sucked you into this story then in the beginning? What was it that grabbed you about it?
It's a bit like Ruby, really. I sometimes think the best stories are found in real life.
Yeah.
And we have an abundance of them. And, you know, I have to say there's a thing about Northern Ireland and Irish history where people will be familiar with the big names of the time, you know, but actually they don't go much beyond that unless they're particularly interested from a historical point of view. And yet if a period piece appears on television, suddenly everybody knows, you know, these great people that appear on the show. And what we have done is we've kind of taken the backdrop of the actual historical time and the real people involved in it against the real events that were happening at such a massive upheaval in Irish history in terms of home rule and things like that, and partition. But what we've done is we've looked at the human side of it. The people who lived in that time, what were their lives like? So we've also Rosie Barry and Conor O'Donnell, who play the house staff of Lady Jean. So their relationship's going on in the background. How did this affect ordinary people? And it starts off in 1912 and it goes right through to 1921, and in between you've obviously got the Great War and people living after that and how that changed people's attitudes as well. So I think it's the real stories. All these people have their real stories, and I hope what the play does, a bit like Ruby, is that it encourages people in Antrim and further afield to embrace their local history, you know, and get to know these people because they're fascinating.
Excellent.
I mean, Jean Masserene was really into spiritualism. So in this play, you have Sir Edward Carson at a seance. Who'd have thought?
Brilliant, wow.
And so these are the things which we hope will be really kind of audiences will go, oh, this is just, you know, a really good story. It's funny, it's serious at times, but it's theatre. It's got to be entertaining. You know, we want people to come and see it and really enjoy it. And if they learn a bit, great. But primarily, it's that.
I mean, take away from the play the actual characters and the fact that they are historically correct. Like, the story itself is just fascinating and it's beautiful. It sits on its own. You could call the characters, do you know what I mean? As a story, it just has so much weight, and it's incredible then to know that actually these people did exist, which just is the nice icing on the cake, I think, for a wonderful piece of writing. All
right, I can't wait to see it. When can we see it then?
3rd of August it opens, and it's only going to be on the Lyric main stage for 1 week, running from opening on Wednesday through to the Sunday, and there's some matinees as well. Huge thanks to Jimmy Fay, who's been, I have to say, supported me so much from Ruby right through. He came to see it in Antrim last year, loved it, and said it has to come to the Lyric. And so you really need people like that to support writing and artists and things like that. So thanks to him and thanks to everybody at the Lyric, and we can't wait for it to happen.
Brilliant. Well, guys, the best of luck with the show. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.